Good morning and welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lowdown Podcast. I am Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider for Clutch Points. And today on the show, we will be talking about yet another wasted opportunity for practice, it would seem. Dalton Knecht's trade value, and just overall asking a pretty important question. Where are the leaders at? Where's the culture coming from? Let's get into it. A quick reminder, please do hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you get your podcast, preferably here on Odyssey if you guys are listening that way. If you guys are watching right now, please hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you are watching. If you guys don't mind also becoming members of the page, I believe it's free. And the benefit of it is as soon as I'm done recording these, I make it available to members of the YouTube page, and there will be other perks I believe down the road. I don't know if it is. I have to check, but I'm pretty sure it's free. But if you do become that member, though, you get early access to these lowdowns, and then to everybody else, they air in the morning sometimes. So, yeah, do us a favor, like, share, review, rate, blah 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 blah. All right, so let's start with the notes from practice, which Marcus Smart made his debut yesterday. Looked awesome, apparently. Great, awesome, cool. Let's keep that going. Nope, he got sick. So he is not available. Him getting sick is not something that I am, or anybody who has been a little nervous about this training camp to this point, and there's a lot of us, dozens even. But the those of us who have been a little worried about the training camp to this point are more concerned about the planned absences and the absences from players who are otherwise healthy. Marcus Smart shows some flu-like symptoms, told to stay home. He does stay home. There's no biggie there. Now, as far as Luka and LeBron, I think Gabe Vincent also had a planned absence in this one, and Maxi Kleber also did, but he falls under the Smart category, I believe. But the two highest paid players, two superstars, two guys who need reps together, sitting out, seemingly by choice. It just depends on to what extent you believe in the glute nerve issue. LeBron says he's fine, but is also not rushing back because he doesn't feel the need to, which is a weird thing to say from somebody who spends and has spent a lot of time talking about the love of the game and the passion for the game and all of that stuff. So those guys not being available, I don't know. Doesn't sit right with me. I think it's a big missed opportunity for a team that definitely needs reps. And, it begs the question, what is Lakers culture, right? Like you have Rob Pelinka, who is a made man. To a certain extent, you get it because he won a championship and he helped you land Anthony Davis, and he did land Luka Doncic. So, like, he has done enough to be secure in his gig, but to the extent that he is, where the reports are Rob Pelinka is there for as long as Jeannie Buss is there. End of story. I don't know. I don't love that. It calls into question what reason this guy has for really pushing it. And JJ Redick, right, is another guy who gets a contract extension heading into his second season after getting his butt kicked, specifically from a coaching standpoint in the playoffs last year. Getting rewarded for that seems kind of extreme. You could run it back. Obviously, I don't think the guy deserved to get fired over it, but extending him heading into his second season over it, that's a little weird. And he is another guy who keeps on talking about how, he's very good at making excuses. And he always seems to have one. And in this case, he's creating one for himself by overseeing this training camp that has featured so many planned absences. So that's a little weird. Then you have Luka and LeBron. Luka is 26 years old, 27 years old. or I think about to be 27 years old, uh, heading into his prime. And we're talking about this guy, and keeping this guy healthy as if he's LeBron, who is in his 40s. No reason that Luka shouldn't be out there in camp leading by example. And that is poor leadership, to be honest. After a season of telling us how much work he's putting into being a better leader and all of that stuff, this doesn't look great. And then you have LeBron, who again spoke on his show about how he doesn't feel the need to rush back and how he's not going to push it in the way that he has in years past, because of his age. And yeah, the age matters and all that stuff, sure. But to already basically say, yeah, no, I'm not playing at all. You couldn't afford playing a quarter of preseason basketball, and one or two of these games put you at such risk that you're already eliminating yourself from those games heading into preseason and heading into training camp already. Those are your two leaders. So where's the leadership coming from? Is it coming from Jeannie Buss, who happens to hire all of her friends and refuses to hold any of them to any real account? No, not really. So where is it coming from? What is Lakers culture? And don't give me any of this nonsense. This stupid banner. This Harrison calls JJ Redick Chat Riley because Chat GPT. It Don't give me this nonsense. Don't give me championship habits. Don't give me championship communication. Don't give me championship shape when none of that stuff is actually going on right now. So what's the culture? Or is the culture something that, like, is it a culture of losers? Is it a culture of losing? Is it a culture of complacency, of laziness, is this laissez-faire, lackadaisical training camp? Does that actually fall in line with the real Lakers culture under current leadership? I think that's a fair question, because what else do we have to work off of? I'm for damn sure not working off of that graphic. I'm for damn sure not working off of these empty words, these to this point empty words. And yeah, there's time to turn things around. And people are asking me, like, why do you care about this? Why are you so up in arms over this? And it's because nobody else is doing it. Nobody. I looked around today to see, like, what's going on in all of these other camps. And I asked around to see what's going on in all of these other camps. You listen to the way that the players from Boston are talking about the way Joe Mazzulla is putting them through it. And it's like, Jaylen Brown called it war. Like, Kevin Durant is playing in his preseason game. Alperen Şengün, who played in Eurobasket, he's playing for Houston. Nikola Jokic played in Eurobasket. He's playing for Denver. The Lakers are the only ones doing this. And then they're going to be the ones who were complaining at the beginning of the season about being, left behind or being a little behind schedule when y'all wrote up the schedule. Let's talk really quickly about Dalton Knecht. Dan Wojcicki wrote about his value being seen by some around the league as negative, and went long on this. And honestly, I was probably too hard on Dalton in that segment. Not saying that I think everything I said was fair, in fact, and it definitely was factual. But it was a lot of kind of railing on Dalton Knecht. And so I'm just going to put it this way. Dan Wojcicki is hearing this, that at least one source that he spoke to said that Dalton Knecht right now, to this point in his career, if the Lakers were to try to trade him, according to this one source, that the Lakers would have to add value to him to get off of his contract, which, by the way, is expiring. Here's how I have heard it, where some people I've spoken to think that he's a slight positive because some team around the NBA is going to be interested in trading for a guy who can at least theoretically shoot the way that Dalton Knecht can and has those physical tools that Dalton Knecht does. Vast majority of people probably can that I've spoken to probably consider Dalton more of a neutral asset where he's salary filler. He would, he has expiring salary that would help the Lakers get to whatever number they have to get to, and has the benefit of being youngish. He's an older prospect. Remember, um, I think he just turns 25, or he will turn 25 over the course of this season. So that is something to take into account. And then there are, obviously, to like Dan is saying, at least one person, and I heard from a couple of people who kind of feel this way. It's like, yeah, he's an older prospect. He hasn't been able to do the thing that he was drafted to be able to do, which is just shoot. He has really bad defensive instincts. His basketball IQ is the reason he fell in the draft, and clearly it hasn't improved to this point in his career. So yeah, in order to take in Dalton Knecht, some of these teams would maybe look at him and say, that's a lot of work that we would have to put in to resuscitate his career and resuscitate him as a prospect. Might take a little extra to get to move that contract. I find myself thinking neutral to positive, slightly, ever so slightly positive, but at least neutral is where I would have him. He's on an expiring, and it's a very small contract, and it will be a very small cap hold whenever it is time to, when you head into the off season. And if it doesn't work out in the few months that you have Dalton, you can say, vaya con Dios, good luck, young man, go figure it out somewhere else. And not be any worse for the wear, because you won't have given up very, very much to get Knecht. So I hope he does turn things around. The Lakers need him to turn it around, and frankly, he needs to turn it around. Whether that is to remain a Laker, or whether that is to go out and see what else he can do out there. But for right now, you're looking at the situation. If you're Dalton Knecht, and if you're the Lakers, and it does feel to this point, if you're the Lakers, like it was a missed opportunity, not trading that pick in the first place and then using the pick on Knecht. And then for Dalton, it feels like a missed opportunity because the Lakers clearly needed somebody at your position, and then felt the need to go out and get somebody who could very easily replace you in Jake LaRavia. So we'll see how this turns out. But yeah, by the way, I thought the piece that detail was kind of tucked into was really good. And it is worth your time to read the whole thing. I wouldn't say there was a ton of additional context there. As it pertains to this specific detail, Dalton being seen by the one source as a negative asset. But like an explanation on what is expected of him, what he needs to work on, and stuff like that, I thought it was a good piece. So I do think you should probably check it out. All right, that is going to do it here for this episode of the Lakers Lowdown Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Again, please hit that subscribe button and consider becoming a member of this here YouTube page. And if you do, you get early access to this. And if you have already, enjoy. Tell your friends. And if you, at the very least, though, a subscription, just subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button helps us quite a bit. So do that. Have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you in a little bit.